For example, if you were to give away 10% of your future income, you could save about 50,000 lollies. What does that mean again? It means it's equivalent to 500 centuries of life at full health, is what you can do while having an affluent lifestyle in the UK without really giving up all that much of actual value in your life. I know, I think there's about 20 people in this room who are managing to give away at least 10% of their income like that. Realistically, it'd be more like 500 millennia of life improved by 10% if you go for the examples that I'm thinking of, ways to improve mental quality rather than extending. Spread over something like 50,000 people. Now you might think, how is this possible? And here is a chart which I think helps to describe that. I think it's the most important figure, diagram in economics is this, which is the world income distribution. So you can get some, you can't see the numbers very clearly there, but this is having everyone in the world lined up from poorest on the left to richest on the right. And if you do that, income per household member is on the vertical axis, and it's measured in US dollars, purchasing power parity adjusted. So the adjustment that Peter talked about earlier. And what you find is that there's this amazingly skewed distribution. An equal society would be a flat curve here. So it's very skewed, and there's in fact an ellipsis at the top up here. So I couldn't fit it all on. At this scale, actually at this scale, it would be about twice as tall as Mount Everest if you actually wanted to continue this diagram in scale to fit everyone on. So it is quite extremely skewed. And what's interesting, like, how can it be the case that we can lead to so much benefit? The numbers I told you might seem really staggering, but the answer is that everyone in this room is going to end up in this part of the income distribution. You might have thought you'd be somewhere near the shoulder of this curve, but the shoulder of the curve would be people, working class people, perhaps in the UK, would be somewhere on the shoulder, and also middle class people in Eastern Europe and things like this. As you kind of get further down the shoulder, we're talking about China and places. It's about middle class in China and so on. It's we're not the people who are there. We're the people who are in the wealthiest part. In fact, on our website, which I'll get to in a little bit, but for giving what we can, we have a calculator you might want to check out where you can type in your income and or your projected income, perhaps if you look up what the income for your proposed career is. And then it will tell you how rich you are in global terms. So I put in my AHRC level funding, and it told me I was in the richest 4.5% of the world's population. And also that if I were to give away 10% of that, I would still be the richest 5.5% of the world's population. And that really made me see that while a lot of other people thought this was a low level of funding, £14,000 per annum, less than the median income in the UK and so on, that actually, relative scale of the world, it was really quite high income, but even living on 90% of it, almost everyone in the world already achieves that, can live on that, adjusted for their purchasing power. So this is a key thing to recall, is just what the shape of the world is. Basically, we're in a really rich bit, and there's a lot of people who are much poorer. So what did I do in response to all of this? Well, in order to live up to my values, I decided to give away more than half of my future income, so about 2/3 of my income, as I mentioned on the first slide. I thought, why not do this? I wanted to see what I could do if I did it, and I thought, yeah, that looks like a good deal. And to set up a society for people who want to join me, commit to donating at least 10% of their income to wherever they think most good. At the moment, the last couple of years, I've been able to donate about 14% of my income, so 40. But as I continue my career and my income goes up, I'll be able to increase that. As you can see, it's about 66% overall. But actually, because you need to save a little bit for later, towards the end of my career, I'll be able to give over 100% of my income, which would be neat. And this society of people who are givers, people really try to take this stuff seriously and work together to try to make an impact, would also run a website which collected and shared the best information in the world on cost effectiveness of different charities. And so we've done this, and the organisation is called Giving What We Can, and it has these two different aims. One is to get people to give more, as I've discussed, and also to get people to give more effectively and focus on both of these things. And here's a diagram which really shows the benefit of this. So the percent given here, we can improve that from 60% somewhere around the UK average to 10%. And we can also improve the cost effectiveness from somewhere around the UK average to as good as we can get. And the total impact goes up. It's more than the sum of its parts. This idea is the product of its parts. So what was their reaction to this? Well, as Will said, there was a lot of positive reaction, and people seem to be really interested as an idea. I think it's a good idea. We launched it in November in 2009. There was a lot of interesting news. It was in all the major broadsheets and quite a few of the tabloids and Sky News, BBC. We had about 20 members at the time of launch, including some prominent philosophers like Peter Singer and Thomas Poppy, both of whom were very influential when I was thinking about these things and decided to set it up. And also some very prominent development economists like Michael Kramer and Rachel Gladstone. And we managed to extend from this. Our number of members has increased by more than 500% over the last 1.5 years to 128 members, now 132, in about 13 different countries. Total pledges 33 million, actually 35 I hear now, so it's good to know. It's nice when you become a bit blasé about increasing that million. And that's able to produce something like 8 million quality adjusted light years. To put that into perspective, 8 million years ago was before the Homo Ham split, so before Homo sapiens and chimpanzees were evolutionarily on separate branches. That's pretty good. Obviously, it wouldn't do that just in a row. So to summarise what I've been saying, we in the UK are exceptionally wealthy compared to people in developing countries. Our money can do thousands of times more good for them than it can for us. It's really quite amazing. I think people often forget that. They think about this economic order and they think, yeah, capitalism, yeah, it's pretty good. Well, look at that curve. You think, oh, hang on a second. Very good for the people of us who are having this conversation, but less good for some of the people who aren't having the conversation. That's not the whole story there. There are other questions about capitalism and so on. But we've got to be really careful that we're not just looking among the beneficiaries to decide how good the world order is. It's quite shocking that we're living with a system which distributes money to me when they could be doing 10,000 times more good if it distributed it to other people. I mean, what's going on there? That's not very sensible. But our money can only have these really big benefits if it's given very wisely. We have to think about that a lot. Where to give can be more important than if you do. But it's not a lost cause. It's not terribly difficult to find some of this out, because if you just type in giving what we can into Google, it will take you to some recommended charities and we'll explain all of our reasoning and information about them as to why they're the ones that we think the best we've found so far. And you'll also going to see all the footnotes and all kinds of academic information you might be interested in. Which will be very interesting to you guys. The less interested to go to public, perhaps. It's like all the time I spent citing things. And also that the world with a great, but we can each do a tremendous amount to get better. With how great that is. So let's, thank you.